Alright, we are headed out to the shop. There's Charlotte. You ready, Char? So today we are going to do a couple of different projects. One of those is to construct a nice little
anvil,
kid-sized anvil. And this is our stump right here. So let's go take a look at what we're going to use for the actual anvil.
Right now we're going to use this for the little kid anvil.
That's right. Hey, nice shirt.
And this is metal and this has to be the colorful.
Hey, nice face paint. Yeah, so we're going to use a piece of this railroad track.
I have to put nails in the screwdriver and screw it up and make it.
We don't want to screw it up.
Well, we
want to. We gotta cut it in half. But before we do that, I gotta show everybody what else we're gonna do today. What we have here is a little feller knife and a chunk of mesquite, and that's a chisel, and a very special this is an elk ivory. Yeah, look at that. That's a nice one actually. It's got a few rings on it. That's a nice one. So that's going to go in this handle, which we have to inlay it, and so I'll show you guys how we're going to do that. But first, let's get this railroad track chopped in half. You got it? Good job.
No, because Maggie won't help me.
Help her out, Mags. No, it's just mud. Okay, how wide is our stump? How wide can we make our anvil?
14 inches.
Yep. Now what does it measure that way? Maggie, what does it measure across now? What's the other number at the very end?
It's the 10
No, right there. What is that?
It's 15 inches.
That's 15, but what's that?
16.
16 inches. So I think we want to make our anvil about 14 inches long. How about that? Okay, come over here. What's 14 inches? That's where we're gonna cut this off. Okay, go put the tape over on the table. Okay, watch out for the hose. Stump here, we're gonna have to replace that sometime because it kind of cracked, so we can make it taller when you guys get bigger too. What do you think?
Nice.
Good job. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so now I need some handle scales for these two knives, and ooh, that's really close. That's so close. So on this block of mesquite wood, you can see the grains it's kind of quarter sawn, I guess that's what you call it. Usually your knife scales are running perpendicular. They don't have to run exactly perpendicular, but I am going to cut the scales out this way so that they're close as possible to the grain. Now that we have the handle scales prepped, and they would normally go on the knife at this point, now I can go ahead and inset the ivory. We want, on this ivory, we want it to stick out, I don't know, about 3/8 of an inch. You want to be able to seal that really pretty rings and everything. So it needs to come out to about here, and I think that's going to be about 3/8 of an inch. Also, it's not going to stick straight out. We don't want it to stick straight out because this side there's a lot of depth that we don't really need because the pretty part stops right about here. So it's kind of at an angle is what I'm trying to say. So it's going to come out more or less at this angle is what we want it to do. So just to explain what I'm doing here, it's just by little bit by little bit. I'm just looking at where it's touching from the back side and the front side and just taking material out little by little. Now it's not really crucial what it looks like on the back side, on the inside. That's all going to be filled in with epoxy. But what is crucial is the surface right here, right where the ivory is cresting through. That's what's crucial. If you take too much out right at that, and it's just an edge right here. There's very little material right there. If you take too much out right there, it's going to have gaps around the tooth, and that's not what we want. Something that's important to point out is that before you go too far, you need to finish off this surface down to the fine grit sandpaper that you're going to be finishing the rest of the handle to. The reason for that is if you get your ivory fit right up where you want it to be, and then you come in and finish this off, you're going to be taking material off. That represents exactly where that ivory needs to break through. If you were to fit the ivory first and then take off material, you're going to screw that fit up. So before I go too much further, I'm going to go ahead and sand this down. So we have this all fit up here now finally, and I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. Normally what I do next is fill up the back side of this with epoxy and let it cure, and then we grind everything off flush on the back side so we can put it on the knife. I'm going to go ahead and use some super glue to kind of tack this in place, because I can sit there and hold it while it sets, so I know exactly where it's going to be. And then after that I can fill this in with epoxy. So this could be a good idea and it could be a bad idea. With the epoxy you have some time to move stuff around before it actually sets up. And with this it's going to be pretty instantaneous. I kind of like how it's flowing around the perimeter of the ivory. I just put a big drop in one spot, and it just flowed completely around one whole side of it, so that's kind of cool. Alright guys, that's part 1 of the Elk Ivory Inlay project. Come back for part 2 to see what the knife looks like. It's going to be awesome. I appreciate you supporting the channel, guys. Thanks for subscribing, hitting the notifications button. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day.